Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Chat EbT. I'm your host, Mohammed Ebrahim Tayob. Last week, I said we're going to continue with Jason Goliath. Let's pick up right where we left off. Jason, thanks for sticking around, man.
In today's episode. Thank you for keeping me around, bro.
So, in the last episode, we spoke a lot about, gratitude, acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I wanted to say, we ran a bit out of time there, but I wanted to say, I think gratitude is such an important thing. It's something I realized. I was sitting with a coach the other day, and I was telling her, I feel like I'm not doing anything right. I feel like, and she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I went to London and I did this and I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and now I'm back here and I'm doing, and I don't feel like I did anything. And she was like, so how many people do you think get to go to London? And I was like, yeah, I see your point. I said, no, let's carry on. And she gave me about 5 or 6 examples, and I literally went, sure, okay, I need to. And it was like a moment where I was very upset with myself, and I actually told myself, dude, you need to check yourself, man.
It's a beautiful thing for me. It also confirms, I think, deep stereotypes that people who go to London will bring it up in every episode. Yeah, not one episode will pass. I've been to gang countries. You guys don't know. You don't even know if I've been to another city. But we know for free Mo has been to London. We know very, 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 very well. How do I articulate it? It's that old meme where, I don't know if you've seen the meme where the guy that is in the yacht is being envied by the guy that's in the helicopter. He's being envied by the guy that's in the Bugatti. He's been envied by the guy in the Porsche. He's been envied by the guy in the BM. He's been envied by the guy in the Golf. He's been envied by the guy on the bicycle. He's been envied by the guy that's running with techies. He's been envied by the guy that's walking barefoot. He's been envied by the guy sitting in a wheelchair.
Saying he can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and it's that thing of perspective helps with gratitude. So being able to know you're blessed, being able to know that it could be worse. I don't like that whole thing of it could be worse when other people are saying it to me, but I do like it when I'm able to say it to myself. And being conscious of that, gratitude is the aromat of life, bro. It is the aromat of life. It will make every single thing taste better. And that's why I'm always telling people, go find your gratitude. Start a gratitude journal. Gratitude has helped me sleep better.
Yeah.
Because scientifically, gratitude and anxiety come from the same part of the brain, and your brain can only feel one of those two at a time. So if you're like me and you suffer with anxiety, the closer you are to your gratitude, the less time your brain has to spend being anxious. It's the craziest thing. And you do a gratitude journal at night before you go to bed to delete all of the anxiety of the day and give yourself positive stuff to focus on. I sleep better because I sleep less anxious. I find I was in this space of I'd feel dread for the next day because you'd be also overwhelmed. I'd feel dread for something I know that I'm capable of doing, but this overwhelm, and then instead of feeling the dread, I go, yo, what are you dreading? And then I go, nothing. What if? I said, no, there's no what ifs. Are you capable? Yes. Are you experienced enough? Yes. Do you understand the assignment? Yes. Is there any question mark in your mind if you can be able to show up and embrace that colored proverb of dala what you must? No, I can dala. Then I'm like, so then what you anxious about? Oh, nothing. Oh, I'm so grateful that I have all of this experience and the energy and the know-how to be able to show up tomorrow and dala what I'm supposed to dala. Then the biggest thing of that London story and your friend was, my mother should be on the show because that's all I talk about. My wife always says, hey, you like to bring up your mother's analogies. What is the fact? But here's the sentence. And I say it almost every day to myself. I once complained about people not respecting your personal space from a selfie perspective. Why? I don't mind a selfie, but why you waited till the food? I watched you watching me. You waited till the food was in my mouth in the restaurant. And then my mother's words were so simple. She was like, that's the last time you'll ever complain to me about the things you prayed for. She was like, I was there when you were praying. Every single time somebody wants a selfie, it is God confirming that your prayers have been answered, reminding you that your prayers have been answered. Somebody wants a picture with you, and you complaining to me? Never. We do not complain about the things we prayed for. It's the easiest way to rob yourself of gratitude. The easiest way. You were praying when your CV went in, now you're moaning because it's Friday and you want to go home. Get out of my way. You offend me. You offend me. We do not complain about the things we prayed for. Go to Orange Farm today. Go and drive there. Choose any kasi closest to you. Go to Westbury, go to Aldo's, go and drive around. Go and see how many people pray for what you have, for what you're crying about, sis.
I'm going to ask you to please tell your mom thank you, because that's probably one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard.
Bruh, that thing.
I love that.
You're
That's
that thing.
brilliant.
We complain for everything, bruh. It's disgusting.
No,
It also just makes you feel like a victim. Then that perspective, if you enjoy the perspective of a victim, you're going to feel like a victim all the time. The perspective you choose will be the life you enjoy. Choose your perspective. Simple.
yeah, we are, in all honesty, we are our own worst enemy a lot of the time.
All the time. And for some reason, it's that old, that saying of our deepest fear is not our inadequacy, but that we are our greater, that Madiba always quoted. I really buy into that thing. We are so scared of success. I'm so scared of success. Imposter syndrome, and also like, what if it does work out? Now the expectation is crazy. So, a great question to ask is why men sabotage their beautiful lives. That's a great question to ask.
No, 100%. I love what you said about imposter syndrome. I think, I remember I had this boss. It was honestly one of the best bosses I had. And
give it a shout out there, man.
yeah, he's sitting in the US. But yeah, Terrell, if you're watching this, you'll know.
Hey, Terrell must be nice, huh? Only in dollars now, Terrell. Must be very nice.
Terrell said, and I asked him, because obviously he was an audit partner and I was an audit manager, and I asked him, when does the imposter syndrome come to an end? And he told me, he's got a 20-year career. He told me, when it happens, I'll let you know. And I just went, okay.
I can guarantee if you phoned him now, he'd tell you how grateful it is, how grateful he is for it. Because I chat with Nick Goliath, who's my sounding board, and I mean him and I developed the Happiness Economy comedy show, all of this stuff, and we chat all the time just about why am I forgetting my train of thought now? What were we just talking about this guy? What is his name?
Terrell, with imposter syndrome.
Yes. So I always say to Nick, why do we never talk about the positive side of imposter syndrome? Because there is a positive side. The negative side is how it can be a jail, it can strangle you, it can make you a hostage to, something that you can do. But the positive side is, yes, that thing makes me try hard, bruh. That thing makes me show up, that thing motivates me, that thing drives me. And I also found, like, I got to a space last year where I was just like, okay, I should have dreamed bigger. Like, I've achieved everything, now what? Like, you know what I mean? I don't need a big house, I don't need a faster car, I've married my dream woman, so now what? I don't need to be world famous, I definitely don't need anything more career-wise, I have shows enough, corporate enough, what more do I want? And I watched David Carl come off stage and he was like, oh, just 25 years of comedy, And I'm like, yeah, Brakau, how? I'm 15 years deep. And I'm feeling a bit like bored, and I'm like watching you 25 years and you're still so inspired. And then, when great advice comes from the most random place, David Carr just looked at me and he said, oh, bro, if you're not feeling inspired, you need new friends. I said, what do you mean, David? He said, no, bro, if you're not inspired, that just means the people around you are not inspiring you. And that just means you need new friends. And I said, David, I hate that is so simple and so brilliant. Like, surround yourself with people who are doing things that scare you.
It's that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
100%. And I'm so guilty of wanting to be that guy. That's why I'm on stage, bro. I want to act the smartest, even if I'm not. And it's been the truest thing. So that thing of motivation and inspiration also definitely linked to who you surround yourself with. Then you realize how up against it we are. Because, 20 years ago, there was no device in your hand that was taking you down an algorithm-derived echo chamber, showing you only a certain perspective, enough so to manipulate the way you think and see the world. And you think we're all seeing this, and then you're not even. So then you imagine now you're feeling insecure, and all you see is more insecure things. It's just like, you know what I mean. So like I'm always like trying to remind myself, bruh, this algorithm is gonna feed you because it's profitable to eat. Do not be fed, eat. And the difference there is, think about what you'd like to nourish yourself with and eat that. Do not just eat what is fed. And fat people, we eat, Papa, whatever's coming, we just eat it. And then I'm like, no, go and consume the content that feeds you instead of consuming the content that you are fed. Yeah, I must write a book, man.
You're giving, I was say, you need to get this all down. Obviously, we're going to send you a copy and you can just take the transcript and just
Done.
Copy and paste.
No, just don't even send me the copy. So put the transcript into AI and tell AI to send me the book. It's
100%.
done.
Now, obviously, on our last episode,
Yeah.
you plugged, and so I'm going to ask you the question.
the cliffhanger.
We have to talk. You mentioned the weight. I know you were very, very proud that you managed to shed quite a bit.
My guy. So honestly, 25 kgs in the last like 6-7 months.
Brilliant.
My heaviest was 144. So, like I'm saying, at 144, I don't think anybody who's not been 144 can even understand. Like firstly, I was very cute at 144 because I got married at 144, which means somebody thought I'm delicious. And if this somebody thinks I'm delicious. Your opinion of my body, it doesn't matter. Why would it matter if the person who needs to think I'm delicious thinks I'm delicious? I feel sorry for her because she's getting less now. You know what I mean? I'm 112 now. She used to get the full power one. Now her power one, it's got less chocolate. You know how it goes.
So
You know what I mean?
The Coke can shrunk.
I'm telling you.
To 330.
My guy, the Kit Kat fingers are on a diet. I'm just like, come on, you know what I'm saying? So it was definitely not for looks or confidence, because I definitely have always been confident. I wish I didn't like the way I looked. I always have. But at 144, bruh, you can't move. At 144, you drop something on the floor, that thing is too far. If that thing is worth less than 50 rand, you kick it like a block of ice under the fridge. Don't pretend like you pick up the ice. You know what I mean? At 144, it's embarrassing. You want to bend down in public. It's yoga. At 144, I was praying so hard and God was answering my prayers, but I was too tired to go and get it. Like, I can't explain it, how embarrassing it would be or was for me to think about the fact that if you want to see God, come spend a day in my life. Because I honestly feel like my prayers are being answered at such a crazy rate. I joke with my wife and I say, yo, baby, I think we must downgrade our prayer subscription back to 3G. Because these 5G prayers are too aggressive. And then I felt like it was such a disappointment to pray so hard and then not have the energy to go and dala what you need to do, because that's the new sentence. Pray and dala. You're going to pray, and then God has blessed me with the talent. He's blessed me with opportunities, blessed me with experience. Why would I not go and do the thing to get the thing that I'm praying for when it's kind of so clear for me? So the whole thing I needed was more energy. And the only place to get more energy was to lose weight. And to lose weight, yes, commitment, yes, all of those things, but I've tried all those things my whole life and it didn't work, and then I got diagnosed with ADHD. And I say this because I want to talk about it, yes, but I also don't want to take credit for it. So a lot of people have said, you're taking Ozempic or Monjaro. Then I said, no, but I still look delicious. If you take that thing, you start looking conty in the face. Yeah. I'm like, I still look delicious, so it's definitely not that. But what it is I was diagnosed with ADHD. I told you, I hinted that something was wrong. And I was just so grateful that I was in a space that I was conscious enough. I asked a bro of mine that had been through a mental journey, a mental wellness journey, and I saw a change in his life. And I said to him, yo, bro, I'm going through a thing. And this was a very busy man. And when I said to him, I need help, this stopped everything. Right. Bruh, my ADHD was in a space where this gave me the number of his psychiatrist, then phoned me the next day and said, bruh, do you mind if I make the appointment for you? I said, please. He said, I know that you have the number. You know you must make the appointment. For some reason, you just can't. The made the appointment. The picked me up the morning of, took me for coffee before to talk me through what his journey had been. Sat outside of the appointment, took me for another coffee thereafter, checks in on me whenever he can. Then I'm just like, I had this crazy journey of firstly being diagnosed, ADHD, mild anxiety, depression, and I'm not sure if you know this, but recently they've discovered that anxiety, depression, in a lot of cases are a side effect of ADHD. Yep. So you get misdiagnosed, you get diagnosed as depressed, and they put you on an antidepressant, but the ADHD is the cause, because it locks you from doing stuff for whatever reason, and so you're not treating the cause. So my ADHD med is a dopamine inhibitor. Turns out all of my dopamine from my obvious dopamine addiction comes from food. That's where I escape. That's where I go to have a good time. If my life is going well, I celebrate with food. If things are hard, I chow some more food because that makes me feel better. So there was so much dopamine coming from food that when things were bad, I would literally just have food in the back of my mind because that's going to make me feel better. I start taking these tablets and all of a sudden, I don't think about food. I don't think about food. Like, I can't explain to a thin person what that means. Like, I know for 10 people...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
For 10 people, you think about food when your stomach tunes, you know what I mean? Then 10 people think about food when the body's giving signals. I think about food Everything makes me think about food. This microphone makes me think about well, I was going to say a Magnum, but I don't want to advertise for them because I love them too much. But like, remember that cold Magnum with the I can eat that thing right now. So now with the dopamine thing, I just don't think about it. So then I said to my fro, hey, I've been trying to do this weight loss thing. I think I'm just going to lean into what this tablet is doing. Did some research, and essentially I'm like on a lifestyle because I'm tired of disappointing myself, because that is the main thing. You go on a diet, you eat a chocolate, now you hate yourself because you've disappointed yourself. Then I was like, I'm never going to do a diet again. I need a lifestyle shift. And now I try to kind of do intermittent fasting style, kind of try to do one meal a day, which has been amazing for me. But I've also just like then started changing other things. Firstly, change the way I judge myself. So I try, and every victory is a victory. So if I have lunch with you, and the waiter says, do you want something to drink? And I say, Coke. And the waiter says, which one? And I say, 0. I've won today. One decision. Just that one decision. So then, this is hard, but even you, brah, deep down in the quiet of your mind, you know exactly what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Deep down in the quiet of your mind, you also know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Then my deal with myself is to stop negotiating those things with myself and simply just try to do more of the things I know I'm supposed to do every day and less of the things I'm not supposed to. And as long as I'm doing a little bit more and a little bit less, I'm winning. There's no judgment. And days that I have a hard day, I have a hard day, but I also don't negotiate with myself and pretend it's a hard day. You know what I mean? I've got to be honest to understand why I'm doing it, and I feel the energy. Also, small things then after that diet was just like, don't open my eyes and have coffee immediately. Like, I read a thing about how we're filled with cortisol. You wake up, you pour caffeine on cortisol. It's like putting petrol on a fire. You're so dehydrated, caffeine dehydrates you. So then I started my vitamins in the morning and I have coffee like after an hour. That added an hour to my life. That made me feel like I slept an extra hour. I changed my shower from super hot to super cold at the end, and I do 2 minutes of super cold from super hot.
I thought you were going to say from the beginning I was going to be. That
No. From the beginning, you just ruined. I tried that thing, bro. You're just angry the whole day. Now you're just swearing. That thing's too much shock. You get too angry. I start swearing at people the whole day for no reason. So then at the end of my shower, when I'm now done, I'm about to get out, then stand under super hot for a minute. Then while I'm under, I switch it to super cold and stay there for, I try 2 minutes, but it's generally until I feel like cardiac arrest. My guy, remember that thing I said to you about pain? Pleasure is always on the other side of pain. That little 1 minute of discomfort makes me feel like I slept an extra hour.
Yeah.
Then when people understand that sleep is my main currency, time off is my main currency. So if I can find ways to make myself feel more energetic, it's making my whole life better. Then I'm like, you're scared of that 2 minutes under the shower, but I can see the difference. I see the difference in my skin. Boy, don't pretend I'm not glowing. Don't pretend I'm not cute, auntie.
You know, I love talking about it because once I got formally diagnosed and I started researching more about it, you realize that what we know about ADHD is a drop in the ocean.
Terrifyingly little.
It's so little. And similar things like you mentioning, anxiety, depression, those are all, byproducts.
Yes.
Similar, very, very similar.
Yeah.
And the way we think about things, the way we go about things is phenomenal, man. And if we just, it's like I said, I love talking about it because it's such a vast ocean, man.
I love talking about mental health altogether.
Yes,
I actually made a statement the other day where I'm like, I'm tired of the stereotype that men don't like talking about mental health. I'm like, I don't think that's articulated correctly. I think men don't like bringing up the conversation. But let me tell you, anytime I've brought up the conversation around a bunch of men, the O's are in.
Yeah.
The O's are in because everybody's going through so much. So that time of men not being willing to share, I think, is gone. But I do think every friend group just needs the O that's willing to be that guy. Because now you bang, you don't want to be that guy. Now Owen's having a nice time now. You start bringing your feelings, and you know how Owens can carry on. But every single time I've brought it up, men cannot wait to share, cannot wait to help, and in a true man way. So then I also don't want men to use that articulation, that men don't like to share. We love it. We just don't like to be the O that starts it. We don't want to be the guy that brings it up first. But what was the main, like, for me, my main takeout, and I'm asking you this by sharing with you, one of the first things was, thank goodness something's wrong, and I'm not just a broken person. I'm not stupid. I'm not a F-up. I'm not... that was one of the first things, because then you start going all the way back in your life and you see this thing was there from childhood, your parents, your schooling, they were all ignorant. The world is still ignorant to it. Then everybody uses it now. I was scared to talk about it for 6 months because I thought everybody's just going to think I'm another stereotype, you know, jumping on it as an excuse, as a bandwagon. And then now I'm just over a year into my journey, and I've coupled that with, you know, the last 8 months of not only seeing a psychiatrist but seeing a therapist, because now that my brain is doing what it's supposed to do, I can go back and fight all those dragons that I've you know, had and start unpacking. And that, the two together, has been one of the best things I've ever done, and the meds help, bro, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't so much as a thank God there's something wrong, and I don't think I've spoken about this a lot. I think it was finally being able to let go of the guilt,
But that's the thing.
because the longest time I was like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that?
But that's the point. You can't let go of the guilt unless you have that epiphany, that moment of there was something wrong. And that's I'm saying, you're articulating exactly what I'm saying. Carry on.
No, and essentially it was just that. And like you said, right, as we do more research, you sit and look at a post on Instagram about ADHD and you go, oh, that makes sense.
Yep. Every single
20
point.
years ago I used to do this, and oh, now I know why. No, but like you said, and going back to, you know, the gap theory, going back to what we said of having that acceptance, having that gratitude, you know, I think we as ADHD people, we struggle with the gratitude part a lot. And now we have the tools to be able to say, you know what, actually, this is a good thing.
I think that me as an ADHD person, my ADHD has always helped me stay closer to my gratitude. And I think that's the faux pas, is expecting it all. We're all affected the same. We all go through the same thing. I feel mine has made me hyper grateful, almost too grateful in certain instances, because what my brain will do, because it likes the feeling of gratitude, that's a dopamine hit. My brain will now seek out ways to feel that. And to make peace with that, Brian, has been a major thing, to first accept that I have a problem here in these areas. I hide away from facts here. I hide away from my life here. I try to disappear into this, or I try to hide behind that. And then it's, you know, I'm just in that space of, and maybe it's age, but just gonna look myself in the eye, man. Just gonna look myself in the eye and you know, I was a lie to you, it's a terrible sentence that they used to just say, man, just drink a concrete milkshake and harden up, boy. Just drink a concrete milkshake and harden up. And it's a cruel saying, but I think it protects me because I don't expect anybody to make my life nice. I'm not expecting anybody to go to bed at night thinking about how to improve my life, how to make something nicer for me. I understand that nobody's coming to save me, and therefore I understand that I've got to dollar. I'm blessed to understand that the only thing money affords us is experience. So instead of worrying about the money, I worry rather about the experiences I want to enjoy, and that informs how hard I've got to work. I'll give you one last profound line.
Yeah.
Take this one with your ADHD pulse. Is firstly, mental health is a wild thing because it's not like normal health. So if you live with a mentally divergent person, mentally diverse person, or you live with anybody who's, you know, got any diagnosis, whatever they would like to label it, what happens is you go, okay, cool. In the family, I've been diagnosed with depression. Everybody goes, yeah, finally we can see. We can see. I've taken the tablets now, sharp. Then everybody in the family goes, you better now, right? Then I go, no, that person is never going to be better. If you're diagnosed with chronic depression, chronic anxiety, if you are on medication that in any way changes your brain chemistry, I wish people could see it as an amputee. When you see somebody who's lost a leg, you don't phone them tomorrow and say, your leg is back now, right?
Yeah.
Your leg doesn't grow back. What you do is you accommodate for that person. You put ramps in. You don't invite them to places where there's 100 stairs. You think about it like that because you are conscious and empathetic. Then with mental wellness, because we all look the same, we sound the same, you literally, if you are on any type of program, get asked, so you okay now? And people just expect it to be over because it's hard on those around you. And it's very often those around you who haven't been told how long the race is, and that it's a marathon, and that they not only is there not going to be an end, but there's going to be ups and downs the whole time. I think the biggest cause of a greater depression than one suffers a diagnosis is not being told that depression is not going to go away. You're going to have waves of it. It's going to come back. You're going to get to a point where you're going to build up a resistance to your medication. You're going to, so the mental illness thing is the most important topic, I think, especially for men, that we should be talking about, and I'm glad that we are. But my mental health has improved because I remember a sentence often. So, every colored family has the rich uncle, right? Every colored family has that one rich uncle. I used to call him the HTH uncle because they're the only uncle with a pool. What do the rest of us know about HTH? You know what I mean? The HTH uncle. So I had an HTH uncle. My dad is alcoholic. My HTH uncle likes to drink. My dad and my HTH uncle would drink every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, drunk. But my HTH uncle, ridiculously successful, an accountant, family man, seems to, one of those bullies that just seems to be able to tick all the boxes. And I would look at my bully and then look at him and go, you both drink the same, but how come you okay and he's not? And I asked him one day because I was curious as a kid, and he said something to me that is just so crazy. He said, hey man, I'll tell you something that your bully maybe doesn't understand. He said, most people are going to play and have fun and find joy with what they have left over from working. Then he said, you're never going to be happy that way. My advice to you is, if you are willing to work this much harder than you'd like to play, you're going to be fine for the rest of your life. So let's make the rest of your life a simple thing. If you are willing to work just this much harder than you would like to play for the rest of your life, you're going to be fine. Then he said, just be smart enough to first define what play is. So if you understand what play looks like, what type of car you want to drive, what type of holidays you want to go on, if you understand what a good time looks like to you, then that's your why. That's why you show up for work every day. So he's like, unless you know play, you're not ever going to show up at work as hard as you can, because you're always going to be playing with what's left over. So now you're making work the most important thing. Then if work is the most important thing in your life, what a boring way to live. And I feel like everyone around me plays and has fun with what they have left over after Edgar's has taken their money. Then I'm like, no, I want to do certain things. The only thing money affords us is experiences. Think about the experiences you'd like to enjoy. Then if you define that, that will give you a rand value. Now you need to work that much harder than that rand value. Then on a Monday morning when you're not in the mood to go to work, you know why you're vying, because you've booked a business class flight somewhere. On a Tuesday where you want to take an extra couple of minutes at lunch and not close that extra deal to make sure that your targets come through, you start thinking about what 20-inch tires cost versus somebody who's comfortable in their i10 and those tires. Don't they give those tires for free? I think they're like byproducts of our tires. Those tires. So then it's like, everyone's going to tell you about your why, but nobody's going to tell you how to get there if you don't have an obvious why. Like me, I'm a comedian sharp. You know what I mean? When you don't have an obvious why, you only ever have to work this much harder than you want to play, but for goodness sake, prioritize play. Think about what play is to define how hard you have to work, not the other way around.
Brilliant. Jason?
You guys owe me like 500 Rand for this advice.
Yeah. I was going to say, I wish we could carry on, because I think we can just carry on talking. I'm absolutely
I can speak about this stuff forever, but I actually have a wife outside of the studio, and I've been a hostage here for a long time now. So but I got to say thank you for having me, man. And
it's our pleasure.
Thank you for being interested, and mostly, weirdly, thank you for supporting live stand-up comedy. Like, I'm always just saying to people, like, I don't care who the comedian is. But just go. Life is different, I promise you.
It really
there's
is.
no, watching it online, watching with the family is great, but there's a tangibility about live. So whenever you see a poster, if you can, go and support. And some of those are not good, but doesn't mean we're all like that. So if you didn't enjoy that, so give the others a chance. You know what I mean? So there's some aunties in your family, the potatoes are hard.
100%. No, I agree with you. Jason, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. As I said, I love taking away, and you've given us so much to take away. So you should be charging us for all the advice you give us.
I won't charge you, but I will say, go watch comedy. But also the one-man show I'm currently developing is called Anger Management. I'm going to be dropping some clips over the next couple of months just to warm people up. But the show is Anger Management. I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the year. It's been a crazy year, but if I can, then at least Joburg and Cape Town. So please, yeah, follow me. And then anger management, I promise you, I think it's some of my nicest work yet.
No, I can't wait. Definitely gonna be there, man.
Oui.
All right. That's our show. So much to unpack, such brilliant wisdom that we got here from Jason. But one of the things I want to talk about is let's talk more about mental well-being. My name is Mohammed Ebrahim Tayob. You're watching Chat EBT. Until next time.